Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out our channel today. I got a special guest today, Nelson Cantu from EXP here in town. And I've got the pleasure of talking to you today. So introduce yourself. I kind of already did. And
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man. First and foremost, like you mentioned, my name is Nelson. Been in the real estate industry, I think coming up on 8 years or so. Run a team of agents, do a little bit of investing as well. Other than that, born and raised pretty much, born here in Bakersfield, raised in the Arvin area. So graduated from Arvin High. Got three kids at home, 3 kiddos ranging from 8 to 3 months. So I got a wifey at home as well.
You got a baby.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping?
I'm sleeping. My wife's another story though.
Yeah, that's good. She a stay-at-home mom?
She is, bro. Okay, yeah, thank God. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, that's definitely helped out a lot, man. It's it kind of gives me the peace of mind that my kids at home, they're well taken care of, and because you hear some stories every now and then of somebody mistreating kids or whatever the case might be. Yeah. So I'm just glad that she can stay home and I can come and do my thing.
Dude, my kids were actually when they were babies, not for very long, maybe a year, but almost all of them. Their great grandma, my wife's grandmother, who is now 96, watched them for a little bit, but not for like.
That's a blessing, bro.
But not like the full day. It was like 4 hours at a time, maybe 3 hours, but it helped a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when I first started like getting my real estate license in Pasadena.
In Pasadena?
Yeah,
that's a blessing, dude. Anytime you have a family member or anything like that. Unfortunately, I don't have like any close or I have some family here in Bakersfield, but not like that, like my mom or grandma or anything like that, right? So actually during COVID, it was kind of like my wife I kind of forced her to stay home. Yeah. Right. Because, just because of the unknowns and all that stuff. And I was, you know what, just stay home. We'll figure it out once this whole situation kind of gets sorted out with pandemic.
That's awesome, man. That's good.
That's Nelson in a nutshell, bro.
That's pretty good, man. So you and I have a few things in common, and I wanted to kind of talk about those and kind of hit on each of those points. So we both are team leaders, right? You have a team of what? 5 agents? 3 agents?
6.
6 agents.
6,
okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think I have 5.
Okay.
Lost count already.
Exactly.
5 agents. And then you and I also, obviously we do retail real estate where we list and help buyers,
Yeah.
But we also invest. We flip homes, right? So I wanted you to kind of share a little bit about that part. And then we'll talk about all 3, but let's get into the flipping side because I've been doing flips and I know this market is kind of like, should I continue? What are your thoughts right now on the market? And, how does flipping relate to that?
I think that there's a ton of opportunity in every single market.
Yep.
I think that the way that you approach each and every single deal, is gonna be very different. I think that if you're an investor in today's market, you should definitely very carefully analyze your deal.
Be smart about
before purchasing it, and after you purchase it, okay, what's going to be the ideal exit strategy here, right? I think without going into too many details, I think one of my main exit strategies that I'm really focused on right now, and I know a lot of other very savvy investors are as well, is wholesaling.
Absolutely.
Right? Yep. Not only because of the market, right, where the market's at right now, where interest rates are at, but also the time of year that we're coming into.
Sure.
Right. If you're picking up a property right now, it's very likely that you would probably be getting ready to put it on the market mid to late December,
correct,
which is not ideal. Obviously, because of the time of the year, the holidays, and of course all the unknowns with interest rates and stuff like that, right? So I think that, just to kind of throw out some simple numbers, I think that if there's a world where you can make 30 grand on a wholesale, a $30,000 assignment fee, or $45,000, $50,000 on a flip, I think that just because of the risk factor being higher right now than any of the market, I think it's better to just take a little bit of a smaller payday or paycheck and just go with the safer route, man.
Dude, and it's easier on taxes when you're doing the whole when you have to roll out everything that you did on a flip.
Itemize everything.
Yeah, itemize everything. Dude, it's crazy. With the wholesale, it's just, capital gains, pretty cool, pretty easy.
Yeah. And you don't got to worry about obviously raising funds and stuff and things of that nature. You're literally in and out of it with very little risk.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Are you doing private money lenders, some of your own cash, hard money?
You know what, dude? I've actually always just done, as they say, OPM, other people's money. So all private money lending. That's all I've ever done.
Best way to go, huh?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think that that's the best way to go. I think that you have an opportunity to not only solidify a relationship with a very resourceful person that can bring the capital to the table, but at the same time, I think that you can get a little bit of a better deal than doing a hard money loan as well. And so that's all I've ever done, dude. And it's always been with friends, honestly, bro.
Yeah.
Friends or people that eventually became friends because of, getting them involved on that particular project.
Yeah, I have one right now that's actually one of my best friends. And I was actually worried too. Like, man, like, should I do that because he's a friend? And what if a deal goes bad? But honestly, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It sometimes it does feel weird because I'm like, you're my investor, but yeah, I forget about it sometimes.
For sure. So, yeah. Dude, I've even gone to the best
relationship.
For sure. I've even gone to the point where I know exactly what you're talking about because I've actually had some of my past clients, like on the retail side, fund some of my flips in the past. And so that was a little bit tough because obviously you do have to disclose like, hey, there's obviously risk in everything, right? There's risk. But then you explain to them the benefits and the rate of return that they're going to get and how they're covered in the event that, hey, Nelson just happens to vanish, right? And so at the end of the day, I think it solidified our relationship even more. And now we have even a better relationship than just like, hey, I'm your agent, you're my client. And now it's like, hey, we've invested together now. They
might even be more interested on that than they are on the other, the other investment side.
Yeah, and I think you have you get the opportunity to open up their eyes to in terms of investing, and you get to open up their eyes to other possibilities versus just your traditional, 20-25% down type scenario as well. Your traditional stuff, right?
Yeah, that's. So I just locked up a seller finance right now.
Did you?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, 7% interest. We had offered 25 down. They wanted 30. It's like, okay, we'll do 30,000 down.
Single family?
Single family. Now it's out in like Lake Isabella area, but it's 2.5 acres. It's a really good deal. I don't want to give too much details, but
sure.
We just locked it up. So haven't decided if I want to wholesale it or maybe keep it for like a little vacation rental because the payments are $500 a month.
Oh, that's nothing, man. Yeah,
right.
I mean, I think it would even work awesome as a long-term rental as well.
But it needs rehab. Maybe about 25, 30,000.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you find that deal?
Calling. Just call. Actually, no, that one was one of my guys put an ad on Facebook.
Really?
And they called him. They texted him and we went out there.
Did he put the ad out in the Lake Isabella area or here? And they just happened to
locally,
they own the property out there.
They're actually not even from here. They're from like the San Fernando Valley.
Really?
But they moved out there. And a bunch of people that's what I'm finding out. A bunch of people from the San Fernando Valley have moved to that area.
To Lake Isabella?
Yeah.
Really?
That area. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's a long story. Not enough time to talk about it here. But yeah, there's a lot of people from there that moved to that area.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is for affordability and
of course
the community there. So
change the scenery.
Absolutely. For sure, yeah. Hustle and bustle, they move out there. It's quiet. They can see the stars.
Yeah.
They love it. So we locked that in, but I'm like you, man. I prefer other people's money. If I have to do hard money loan, I'll do hard money loan. But seller financing is also another awesome, bro. Great way to go, Okay, so cool. That's on the flipping side. Tell me about like the team structure, and you being a leader. What attracted you what made you say, you know what, I want to start a team and I want to lead a team, and us being like EXP too, right? Because that's another layer to it.
There's a ton to unpack there, right? And I know we don't have the time today, but I'll try to give it to you in a nutshell. Long story short, brother, I got into real estate in 2017, and essentially what I did, I came from from an electrical background, right? So I went from that, basically just quit my job cold turkey, decided that I was going to go in on real estate, and I had this picture of what real estate was. By the way, it was totally different than what I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah.
So long story short, kind of just jumped in with no real expectation of what was going to happen down the road, even 6 months down the road. Didn't really I knew one person that was actually in real estate. He was the guy that actually kind of gave me some direction as to how to, take my online courses, how to, apply for my state exam and stuff like that.
Kind of guided you at the
beginning. Other than that was about it. Right. Long story short, it was a rough first 12 months, bro. Rough first 12 months. I had no guidance, no mentorship, no coaching. I didn't know what I didn't know. Right. So long story short, I just through like the hustle and bustle, by the grace of God, somehow I closed like 5 deals the first year, right? That was in 2017. I got in at the beginning of 2017. After that, I discovered that there was such thing as mentors and real estate coaches. The following year after that, I closed 26 transactions. So in my second full year, closed 26 transactions. And so after that, a good buddy of mine that I actually went to high school with and all that, he approached me, hey dude, I see what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. Can you help me out? And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not? You know? And so my thing at the time was like, you know what? I don't think that there's a reason why other people just like me should have to go through the kind of first year of real estate that I went through, right? Because it was stressful, man, because I had a mortgage, I had a family, had car payments. I had all your typical stuff that, your typical American has, right? In terms of consumer debt. And so, cashed out a 401k, obviously, they penalized me like almost 50% on that. If not more.
That was like
and so I survived on that with a combination of my savings account. And so finally, again, got a little bit of traction. Long story short, I was like, look, in my opinion, I don't think there's a reason why any new agent should have to go through what I went through. And so I just kind of took a proactive approach to hire coaches, kind of started building a system out of it. And so that was kind of what kind of led me into it, brother.
That's
and,
awesome.
As the years have gone by, obviously, my goals have changed.
Right.
My vision has changed. And so, in 2021 is when I actually started doing some flips, but now this year is actually when I really decided that I was going to kind of dive in a lot more than what I have in the past few years.
Full steam ahead.
Into the investments. Yeah. So my model and my structure has definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
It went from, being the team lead and having the admins and having the agents, right? To now, a lot of that is still the same, but now I've implemented basically a production partner, right? And what that basically has allowed me to do is kind of step away from the retail side. I still list properties, but I really don't take on buyers anymore, right? And so, and the only reason being is because, as you know, bro, how time consuming is it to work with buyers? Yeah, it's more time consuming. Especially in the market that I guess you can kind of say that we're kind of exiting right now.
Yeah.
With having to submit so many offers and, low inventory, high rates. Right. And so I've kind of decided that it's not like in a buyer's best interest to have me help them to search for their dream home. So now, I'll list properties. But for the most part, I am referring the majority of those buyers and stuff like that to my production partner while I'm focusing just on generating more business and finding more deals.
Awesome.
Bro. Yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
Yeah,
man.
that's kind of very similar to me. Growing my team. We're actually growing more like the wholesale side, right?
That's awesome.
I've got guys in there right now. They're just making calls. And so that's been awesome. So tell me how does EXP, because I don't really talk about EXP a whole lot on my podcast, but I do want to start talking about, I see some definitely like big potential there, right? But tell me how everything fits into EXP and what do you see, how do you see yourself in EXP in the next, few years?
Yeah. Good question, dude. So I'll kind of lead with the main reason why I got into or why I decided to join EXP, right? Because my team and I, we ended up leaving the last brokerage that we were at, and in an attempt to not kind of rush into anything else for the sake of not jumping around between brokerages, we basically went independent, right? Being that I'm a broker as well, we went independent. Well, we made a decision, and because I already knew.
You have your broker's license?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I already knew some. I already had some really good friends that were a part of EXP for about 3 years now.
Okay.
And these guys are big heavy hitters, right? And so for me, it was how can I get into proximity with these dudes that are leading teams that are closing almost 1,000 transactions a year. Not saying that that's necessarily my goal,
right?
But they're obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
Right. It takes a lot to be able to close 1,000 transactions a year. Just to think about even the systems that they have in place to be as efficient as they are to be able to close that many deals, right? And so my biggest thing, brother, was it was proximity, right? As they say, there's power in proximity. So I wanted to make sure that I got as close as I possibly could to some of these heavy hitters and some of these guys, man. That it's amazing to me how they have teams that are closing, let's say 150, 200, 400, 500 transactions a year, yet they still have other business ventures going on. So for me, it was a lot more than just the real estate retail stuff, man. It was like, how do these guys have the potential or the capacity to run a team of freaking rock stars and at the same time, have an investment business, at the same time, have a property management company, at the same time, own a coffee shop, right? Like all kinds of just random stuff, right? That they're passionate about. Again, not saying that I necessarily have a dream to open up a coffee shop or anything like that. But to me, it was just like, how is it that they're getting this done? And it's obviously through the power of teamwork, but there's a lot that goes into it, right? So for me, it was like, man, how are these guys doing it? I need to get into proximity and I need to get into these rooms and I want to listen in on these conversations that these guys are having, right? Because, and I'll kind of let you, get into what you were going to say, but I was having a conversation with a good buddy of mine a little while back, and we were talking about Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, right? I don't know if I've talked to you about this before. And he said something that kind of really just made me think, dude. And he, we pulled up the cash flow quadrant. And for those of you that don't know what the cash flow quadrant is, I encourage all of you guys to actually look into it. But essentially, you have 4 different quadrants within this cash flow quadrant, and you have your employee, you have your self-employed individual, you have your business owner, and you have your investor, right? And he said, dude, how can we get, or what is it going to take to be able to get out of this self-employed quadrant and stop having these conversations and start having conversations that fit within the quadrants of business owner and investor? And so when he asked me that, dude, I was like, what? Like, it was just like a next level question, right? And so for me, it was like, dude, like, I think I thought about that for like the next week, just straight. I was just thinking, dude, like, how can I get in front of more people where they're having these conversations? And so for me, that was just kind of like the cherry on the top as to why I decided to kind of get in with the same group of people within EXP that were already having these high level conversations, man. And so ever since he asked me that question, dude, it just really got me thinking. So even till today, sometimes when I'm having conversations with certain mastermind groups or just other groups in general, like I kind of even ask myself, I'm like, well, what quadrant does this conversation fit in? And am I okay with it? Do these conversations get me closer to my goals? I guess you can say.
Yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, I think the big attraction to me for EXP was being able to access those guys.
Right.
Because like you said, they're heavy hitters. I mean, like currently, one of the guys, so he's not my sponsor, but he's the person I kind of, one of the reasons why
is he within your upline or?
Yeah, correct. Okay. Yeah. So Jose Luis, still in production out in Ventura, does hundreds of homes every year, but he's still doing, his next step is to kind of get out of production and do more social media. So I've even told him, I'm like,
kind of the more influencer thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, because that's how I found him on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, dude, you can be like the Ryan Pineda of the Latino community.
Exactly.
He's Hispanic,
Why not?
And anyways, but, and then, Aaron Novello is over here doing podcasts with Ryan Pineda now, right? And so these guys are at a much higher level, obviously. I obviously would consider myself still at an entry level based on, these comparisons.
Yeah, of course.
But we have access to them. We have their numbers. We can call them anytime.
Exactly.
We were, most of our contact is through Zoom. So that's what I was going to tell you was both the proximity and the remoteness at the same time. Meaning like we can talk to them, be on a Zoom or on the phone, but yet they're in Florida, they're in a different county,
Texas, whatever. Yeah.
But I think that's what's so cool and the power of EXP. Whereas think about even your local brokers. Sometimes you don't even have access to them because they're out and about.
Of course,
they're busy. They're busy running their business.
Right.
So I think it's pretty cool that we get this amazing type of like access and coaching, whatever you want to call it. But we have these really good.
And just to piggyback off what you're saying, I think that the proximity for me, and I think for you, based off what you're saying, is obviously one of the number one reasons why you decided to join EXP. Yeah. On top of that, dude, and I'm sure that the group or the upline or whatever you want to call it that you're associated with has a ton of value that they provide to you guys. Absolutely. And so one of the things that I was telling our agents was like, man, you guys don't understand. Like I've coached with Tom Ferry, I've coached with other coaching companies, and I was telling them the amount of value that is provided in some of these masterminds, like on a weekly basis, bro, sometimes 2-3 times a week is 100 times more powerful and 100 times more effective than some of the stuff that I was paying hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for every single month in the past.
The referrals too, everything.
It could be a double-edged sword though too, because sometimes you gotta be able to kind of have some skin in the game and pay for coaching in order to take it serious.
That's true.
When you have something that's free, bro, people don't take it very serious, right?
True.
So
you're right.
So that I constantly remind them, I was like, hey guys, you guys have this available to you, and it's literally free. It's literally free. And I'm telling you, based from experience, this stuff is way more powerful and way more effective than some of the stuff that I was coached on 2, 3, 4 years ago. Like even, I mean, no offense to Tom Ferry, but even through his coaching company.
Absolutely. Yeah. They don't teach you flips. They don't teach you like on the investment side as much, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, dude, I would say, I mean, for all of you out there that are interested in getting into real estate, and maybe you can agree or disagree, but I would say join a team, number one, right?
100%. 100%.
Let them, you can get fed leads.
Yeah, don't try to figure it out on your own. Don't
exactly.
Do it.
That's the main thing, right? You're already starting with a template. And then secondly, I would say something like EXP, because of the fact that you're gonna get a team leader who's basically gonna just put you in straight into production. But then you have these high level access to these people who back in the day we would pay thousands. I paid for Tom Ferry as well. Yeah. Even now I still pay for coaching programs that are, I want to say, not the exact
they have
level.
hefty price tags, man.
Yeah, they do.
Price tags. And so, but I think it's one of those things, brother, where you have to actually, sometimes you have to pay for a coach to be able to appreciate the actual coaching and the accountability.
You see the cost of it.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I think if you're a new agent, definitely jumping on board with the team, at least for the first couple of years, no doubt about that. But then you got to make sure that team has obviously the right coaching, that has the environment that fits in with your personality style too, right? Because there's a ton of great teams out there, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily click with all of them or you with all of them either, right? You got to make sure that they have some sort of accountability, just overall a positive environment, dude.
Sure.
You definitely want to make sure that you surround yourself with people that are being as productive and proactive as possible. Because I mean, I think you've been in real estate longer than I have, and how fast does time fly in real estate, man? I
mean, it goes fast.
How long have you been in real estate?
Almost 18 years.
Been licensed. Does it feel like you just started yesterday?
No. It went by quick. I was going to say there are times where like things do slow down a little bit, right? But in the overall trajectory of things, it goes fast.
Of course.
18 years has gone really, the age of my son, basically.
There you go. And now he's working with you, right?
Now he's working with me.
Yeah, that is him, right?
Yeah, he's making phone calls every day.
There you go.
Yeah. We're opening deals, so left and right. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Cool, man. I appreciate you coming on. I think that, like I said, like you said, real estate presents a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Presents the opportunity for you to be an entrepreneur, to be a leader, to be an owner, operator.
To be an investor.
Yeah. And, again, a little pitch on EXP is that EXP is like the Netflix of real estate, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's the next level. And I think people still don't see that. It's a big company.
Yeah.
It's a big corporate company, but it's that next level. I mean, that's Netflix is now the production company. It's the everything next.
EXP?
Yeah, no, not EXP. I was talking about, I just said it. The movie. Netflix. I'm getting confused with my,
I thought you said Next Flip.
My LLC. With my LLC is Next Flip. Yes. Netflix. I get those two mixed up sometimes. It's just a higher level of name someone that doesn't have a subscription to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one and I don't even use it, bro.
Yeah. So I think for us, like we have this opportunity to be able to influence people, send them down the right path. I'll share this real quick. I paid way less commission in the last 3 years than I have in this year to this new company.
Right.
But I see the value in it.
There's a ton of value.
And it's coming back.
It's ridiculous.
Right? Yeah. The revenue share, I'm already, starting to get some of that. Yeah. And it's like
the company stock, right?
Yeah, company stock.
Yeah, there's other companies that'll charge you, the what do they call them? Like the royalties and that kind of stuff. And so it's like with
and the connections, like we were talking about, the access to high level producers.
Yeah, big players, man.
Teams, absolutely. Big like players. That alone, like, dude, it pays itself.
Yeah.
It pays itself. So people are worried about commission.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that stuff.
And again, just kind of thinking outside of the box here, one of the biggest opportunities here is that like you can connect with a big dog, like let's just say in San Diego or in Texas.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you guys don't do any business on the real estate side, but you guys maybe later on down the road might venture off into something different together just because you guys ended up creating that relationship through this company.
Right.
Right. And so that's where I see the beauty also in having access to all these big players that are essentially, worldwide, but for context across the country here where we are, right?
Yeah, dude, it's pretty awesome, man. It's such a big, huge potential. But last thing before we finish, one more thing that we have in common is we are both diehard Dodger fans.
Yes, sir.
What happened to the Dodgers?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think
when you think our awesome
top dogs,
year and
our top dogs were Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and who else was it? Will Smith, or I can't remember. I think they went like 1 for 21 against the Diamondbacks. Ridiculous, bro. But you know what, man? Being that I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm not too mad that the Texas Rangers won it. Plus my guy Corey Seager's over there too. So I'm happy that he got another ring and another MVP for sure.
I'm a Niners fan.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm a big Niner ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, but we'll get him next year, bro. We'll get him next year.
Yeah,
hopefully, God willing. Hopefully they come.
Those
through.
games are awesome games. The Cowboys, Niners.
Oh yeah. And
games.
I'm sure I have a good feeling that we're gonna see you guys again in the playoffs.
Oh
man.
yeah, for sure. So that'd be fun.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having me, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
It's always a pleasure. And
likewise.
Thanks for checking out this video.